Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson, is now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Georgia's 4th Congressional District, which I'm proud to represent, received about $62.5 million from President Biden's American Rescue Plan, which was passed by congressional Democrats without a single Republican vote. Americans received stimulus checks, extended unemployment benefits, and $300 per month advanced tax cut income from the Earned Income Tax Credit cut. In addition to rental and mortgage assistance and moratoriums on evictions and home foreclosures, plus support for businesses forced to close due to the pandemic, Democrats also provided financial support to state and local governments and money to support school systems. Because of the Joe Biden American Rescue Plan, we put shots in arms, monies in pockets and pocketbooks. We put kids back in school safely, and we put Americans back to work in good paying jobs. Democrats ensured that local school systems could keep the doors open to Head Start programs, that county medical centers had the wherewithal to make it through the pandemic, and that small business owners could have a fair chance to survive and prosper. The ARP has saved so many from the catastrophic repercussions of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Democrats gave our economy a boost that surpassed pre-ARP forecasts by both the Federal Reserve and the Congressional Budget Office. This landmark legislation proves that Congress and the president are working together for the American people, and not a single Republican in either the House or the Senate voted to pass the American Rescue Plan. But when they go back home, they always take credit for legislation that they vote against. And American voters are not fooled. My friends on the other side of the aisle are left to argue during this hearing that the American Rescue Plan was too much money, helped too many people, and caused inflation. I guess they would have preferred that President Biden leave the nation stuck in a recession with families out of work and impoverished, unable to afford groceries, and unable to afford paying the rent and keeping a roof over their head. They whine about the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan that helped working people, families, and small businesses. But when they had control of the House and Senate under an insurrectionist in chief, they shoveled out the door a $5.8 trillion tax cut, 83% of which went to the top 1%. And my friend, Mr. Jaffe, was cheerleading on the sidelines with 2 pom-poms. The American Rescue Plan was help for those who needed that help. And I'm proud to have voted for this transformative legislation, which is part of President Biden's vision to build a better America. And don't forget that Congress passed the American Rescue Plan just 2 months after the insurrection. Dr. Leachman, my district office assisted small business owners with over $50 million in economic injury disaster loan and paycheck protection program loans, as well as with $500,000 in minority small business disaster loans. There's no doubt that the American Rescue Plan provided essential aid that allowed businesses to keep their doors open. Unfortunately, the federal government has a well-documented history of failing to spend advertising dollars in Black and minority-owned media outlets, including when advertising to Black and minority communities. The ARP provided a wide variety of investments targeted to minority communities, from SBA programs to funds to provide vaccines. Are you aware of any effort to ensure that ARP advertising dollars were invested in Black and minority-owned firms? And how well do you think those loan opportunities were advertised in minority communities?
Thank you for the question, sir. This is not an issue that I've studied closely. I will say that the Treasury guidance that requires states and the larger cities and counties to report on the impacts of each project spending on equity and to describe their community engagement processes will help in this regard in helping to assure that recipients, when they receive the funds, are engaging their communities properly and thinking about what are the equity impacts. But I would certainly encourage you to continue to advocate with state and local officials there to do the outreach and engagement necessary to go hand in hand with the direction of these funds.
Thank you. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The